Psych. Not really me playing, obviously. Hey, everybody. Long time no see. Welcome to the first episode of the Enrichment class of the future. Alright, I'll be your host, Mr. Odom. Good to see you, even though I don't actually see any of you. Alright, we're going to do things a little different this week. Obviously, I'm going to try to hit on a lot of the stuff we do in class, but in a different way. So it's going to be very experimental. Hope you enjoy it. Remember, this is episode 1, a little rough around the edges, but we're going to see what we can do. Alright, so to get things started, I guess we'll kick it to an old favorite, a little bit of the student news. So, Mr. Carlos Zeus, take it away.
10-second trivia. Which of these events took place in 1896? First Modern Olympics, Spanish-American War, Chicago World's Fair, or discovery of X-rays? In 1896, the first modern Olympics were held in Athens, Greece, the site of the ancient games. Olympians are among the growing number of people who won't be traveling in the weeks ahead, at least not to Japan. Because of the coronavirus threat, the Summer Games in Tokyo have officially been postponed for about a year. That announcement was made Tuesday. Whether you call it locked down, cooped up, or cut off, we know many of you won't be traveling for spring break. Some summer vacation plans have been put on hold. So we're taking some virtual vacations starting right now, and our first field trip flows through a lava tube of Hawaii.
Just imagine about 500 years ago, lava flooding down through this tube. It's about a mile long. And for the celebration of the centennial of the park, they're letting very small select groups take a tour through here. Let me introduce you to Ab. Ab is going to show us through the tunnel.
Welcome to Pu'apo'o.
Pu'apo'o.
It's so delicate in here and it's so fragile. This place is awesome and I feel like a guest in here every time it's a new experience.
Let's go.
All right. Ihele mai, which means follow me. All of this was scoured out by the lava. And then the roof area was the top that crusted over.
To be able to move this much and create a tube, it must be going
Exactly.
pretty fast,
very
right?
Fast, very fast. You cannot outrun that kind of lava. If you can imagine, it's red hot in here. And as the lava just melts the upper surface and causes the sickles to form. Yeah, these roots are coming from the ceiling of the lava tube, and above us is the rainforest. You can crawl through.
It almost looks like some big earth-moving equipment came through here and dug up the bottom of the cave.
This was the upper surface, and then this is all still molten, flowing underneath it until it all drained away. We're in the area that's called the amphitheater because there's a big opening here. In the absence of light, then this place becomes totally and utterly black. This is the area where we need to crouch, and when you get to the other side, don't stand up too suddenly. These are the standing lava waves, and kind of ebbed and flowed. So it came through it hard, and then it came through it hard. This is the only place that we know of where there's a frozen standing lava wave formation in a lava tube.
It looks staged like a Hollywood set.
So at this point, actually if you see above, that's our exit.
Wow. That's amazing.
this isn't just another way folks are staying in shape while under lockdown. It is probably a world record, at least for this Frenchman's balcony, because he's not just taking laps on it, he's running a marathon. But Carl, you might be saying, his balcony's only 23 feet across. That's right. He says it took about 3,000 laps and that he completed the feat in 6 hours and 48 minutes. Keep in mind, he had to stop and turn around every 23 feet, which is itself a feat or a defeat for his feet, because with all the about faces, it makes for harder races as you're taking all these paces without going any places. He amazes as he pushes forth, always turning back and forth. Reebok, Nike, Saucony should all sponsor his balcony, where with his runner's pride, he takes it all in stride. All right, I'm Carl Azus from the state of Georgia. Shout out to our viewers in the Republic of Georgia, where we're happy to be part of your day at QSI International School of Tbilisi.
All right, thanks, Carl. I'll be honest, how many of you got that 10 out of 10 correct? Raise your hand. Really, Samuel? Be honest. Oh. Okay, so that was segment number 1. A little bit of current event, crazy stuff with the Olympics. Remember, if you have any comments, any questions, wasn't able to pause it during every segment and talk to everyone like usual, so something rung a bell for you or you found something extremely interesting, make sure you comment below this video and I will answer your question, or we'll all talk about whatever you want to discuss. Now let's take a glance back at our year so far. This is just a very small fragment of the amount of footage that I've taken so far throughout the year. So if you didn't see your face, if you didn't see your face, stop being such a narcissist. I'm just joking. Lots more footage to come. 5th graders, I did record your trip to Curious, but that'll be on a later episode. Mostly the 4th graders on this one. This is just random clips throughout the year. A little bit of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders on there. So, to get your mind off of everything and to reminisce and to look back on the year that was. And let's hit it. Wonderful job. What a fun year it has been. And not over yet. Who knows what the future may hold for us. So on our next segment, let's move into a little more of our STEM-based stuff with some engineering. I'm going to show you a PBS digital video about different types of engineering. So the lady talks a little fast, but there's lots of good information in the video. I know we got a lot of future engineers out there in the audience. So I'm looking at you. You know who you are. So watch the video. Got any questions, comments, anything? Like I said before, make sure you add a comment to the bottom of the video. And without further ado, let's take it away about engineering. And stay tuned right after the video. I have an assignment for you. It's optional, but I think you're going to like it. Anyways, let's start the show.
You live in a world of creations. All of the things you see around me were created by people. The technology that's being used to record me and watch me were likewise created. And not by lone geniuses, but by whole teams. Sometimes entire generations of clever designers. Those designers were engineers, and engineers are, when it comes right down to it, creators. The word engineering itself comes from the Latin ingenium, meaning cleverness, and ingenare, meaning to design or devise. And that makes sense because you have to be clever if you're going to solve the problems that engineers face every day. Now, you might think of engineering as a kind of science, and that's not wrong, but it's more useful to think of science as a tool that engineers use, along with mathematics, to perform their unique duties. Throughout this course, we're going to show you just what you can accomplish through engineering. Math is at the core of engineering, but what's more important are the ideas and the applications. They help us understand how we use math to solve problems. So we'll be teaching you some math, but also the concepts that those equations explain in their own way. We'll survey what we've already achieved, explore what we're still discovering, and dream about what we hope to make possible. And we'll show you the ideas you can use to engineer great things. We want you to be inspired and as interested in engineering as we are. That's what this course is all about. I'm Dr. Shanice O'Mara, and this is Crash Course Engineering. Imagine you're walking through town, maybe on your way to class or to the gym or to a meeting for work. And right there on the pavement, you come across a blob of something. It's fairly large and blue and jiggly. Pretty strange, right? What do? Well, you're a curious person and you know a little something about scientific inquiry, so you want to use science to study the blob. Maybe your background is in chemistry, so you might analyse the blob's molecular structure or the chemical components in it to try and figure out what the blob is made of. Or maybe the blob is moving or making sounds and you think it might be alive, so you might try to see how it responds to, say, water or a poke with your pen. Maybe you even decide to remove a sample of it to learn about the blob's biology. You could even look at it from the perspective of physics and see how it operates in motion. Maybe this goo has some special properties. Any of these responses would be approaching the situation as a scientist. You're curious about the blob and want to understand it. That's science. Scientists ask questions about the nature of the universe, from our expanding knowledge of space to the tiniest particles found in the tip of your pencil. But engineers want to take the answers to those questions and solve problems. Because in the process of designing clever things, what engineering really does is solve problems. And the good news is you already know how to think like an engineer. You've dabbled in engineering if you've ever wondered what you can do with something. You've used your engineer's mind if you went outside on a snowy morning and built a snowman after figuring out the packing properties of the snow. I'm not saying you should put that on your resume, but you do get a thumbs up. So from an engineering perspective, your response to the mysterious sidewalk blob would be a little different, but it may depend on what kind of engineer you are. Today, engineering is much broader and more varied than it used to be. That's because engineering originally referred specifically to military engineering. Military engineering involves designing and building military works along with ways of communicating and transporting people and things. Think of catapults, trebuchets and siege towers. These types of war machines and military structures have been found as far back as the 11th century BCE by the Babylonians and Assyrians. You needed a good engineer if you wanted to storm a castle. So from the perspective of this field, the main problem that an engineer might want to solve is simply how to destroy the blob or to protect yourself from it. Now, the first of the modern field of engineering to emerge after military engineering was civil engineering. This branch had its official start around the 18th century. Like the name implies, civil engineering was used for civilian purposes rather than military ones. It focuses on building structures of all kinds, along with highways, sanitation systems, and even entire cities. Under this branch of engineering, we might want to study the blob to figure out what properties it has that can be used to solve problems of daily civilian life. Like maybe the blob's goo is better insulating material than what's currently in your house. Or maybe it turns out to be really elastic or waterproof, or have some other property that could make it useful in construction, infrastructure, or urban planning. The 19th century led to an increasing focus on the machinery industry, which gave rise to the branch of mechanical engineering, which I must say, as a mechanical engineer myself, is a fine discipline. This branch focuses on machinery and mechanical systems from robots to engines. Thomas Savery and Thomas Newcomen, two English inventors who are credited with creating the steam engine in the early 1700s, were both mechanical engineers. And so was James Watt, the Scottish scientist who made their design much more efficient by recapturing steam in the engine. The Industrial Revolution was led by mechanical engineers like them. Then electrical engineering was a natural progression, once we were able to generate electricity and create electronics. Dating back to the 19th century, electrical engineering deals with devices and systems that can range anywhere from microchips and cell phones to the giant power station generators that help supply energy to big cities. Electrical and mechanical engineering often come together to create some pretty fantastic inventions. If you want a robot that can move about like we do, you're going to need a mechanical engineer to set up the skeleton of the machine. Then to give it a heart of electricity, you'll need an electrical engineer to provide power to the robot with electronics. And if you want it to act like us too, you'll need someone skilled in computer science. But engineering doesn't stop there. Another field was founded in the late 19th century, chemical engineering. These engineers have quite a wide focus, not only designing and operating chemical plants that do things like refine oil and distill alcohol, they also deal with food, medicine and the environment, and much more. They're involved not only with the preservatives and artificial flavours found in the pizza pocket you ate last night, but also with the medicine you took the next day to help your upset stomach. Together, civil, mechanical, electrical and chemical engineering are often seen as the four main branches of engineering in the modern world. But there are many more fields that specialise even further. We have aerospace engineers building machines that fly in the air and space, nuclear engineers harnessing energy released from nuclear reactions, and biomedical engineers creating medical equipment and devices to solve clinical problems. The list goes on. And one branch that supports all of them is industrial engineering. Engineers in this field design and optimize the facilities, equipment, and systems that many other engineers use to create their products. Think of them as the support class of the engineering world. They provide the all-important groundwork for many of our engineering advances. We'll need some industrial engineers to help us with our factory when we start manufacturing our cool new products based on whatever this blob is made of. With the power of engineering at our fingertips, we've already been able to do some pretty amazing things. We've built spaceships that have sent people to the moon and given Mars a few rovers, which are fantastic works of engineering themselves. We've made artificial hearts to pump blood through the human body and artificial limbs to replace the ones that we've lost. We've designed skyscrapers that wave at the clouds and show the world just how high we can reach. And we've only just begun. In the future, it's very possible that we'll see advances like an artificial pancreas that would effectively cure type 1 diabetes, a new nanotechnology that will show the might of being small, and rockets that will finally send people to Mars to hang out with those rovers. This and much, much more could all come from engineering. Maybe one day you'll be the one to create something truly amazing. As for the blob you found on the pavement, I don't know what that thing is. Maybe it'll turn out to be a huge wad of used chewing gum. Or maybe it's a new life form. No matter what, it won't be the first or last mysterious object you'll encounter as a student of engineering. The world is full of strange things with great potential for solving problems. When you use your engineering mind, everything suddenly seems both perplexing and exciting. So over the next 40-odd weeks, we'll show you how to build things, design things, We'll show you how to solve problems. We want you to be able to make things better and figure out what's next for the world, because we all live in a world of creation and we want you to be a creator. Next time, we'll continue our journey by diving deeper into civil engineering. We'll learn more about its history and the types of work that civil engineers do, getting you one step closer to being an engineering master of the universe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Crash Course Engineering is produced in association with PBS Digital Studios. You can head over to their channel to check out a playlist of their latest amazing shows, like The Origin of Everything, Infinite Series, and Eons. Crash Course is a Complexly production, and this episode was filmed in the Dr. Cheryl C. Kinney studio with the help of these wonderful people, and our amazing graphics team is Thought Cafe.
All right, we're back. Lots of interesting information. Now, the assignment I was telling you about. What I want you to do, if you've ever seen America's Funniest Home Videos before, they always have the Assignment America, where they give you some sort of category and they want everyone to submit some footage that falls into that category. Well, that's kind of what this is going to be. It's completely optional. You don't have to, but if you're bored and you finish that packet, which I'm sure you all did right when you got it, but if you're done with all your work, you got some extra time, you're bored, this is what I want you to do. I want you to identify a problem around your house. I know we're all stuck at home. Find something that's annoying, something that can be improved on, something that is a problem. I want you to engineer a solution to that problem, and in the process of that, you can film it, you can document it by photos, you can take notes, however you want, document it somehow, and send it to me. And then I will upload that into our next episode. So we will have some of your content. I don't want this all just to be me talking in front of a microphone and all that good stuff. I want you guys to add to the content. So whatever you come up with, some sort of problem around your house, you can use your siblings, parents, grandpa, anybody you're with. You're all stuck together, so you can work together, or you can do it individually, however you want. Just come up with a problem, engineer a solution, and document it. Send it to me, and I will get it into our next episode. All right, and also, if you want to, tell me what type of engineering was involved. Was it mechanical? Was it chemical? Civil? What type of engineering was it? Hopefully you're not doing any biological engineering by going out and sneezing on strangers. Don't do that. So, take a moment from hoarding your toilet paper and soap and come up with the problem, engineer a solution, and send me the footage. Please. It'll be in our next episode. Okay, moving along. Let's see what we got going on next.
On a positive note, it has been really awesome to see nature thriving since so many people have been staying in their homes.
Story
life of a sixth grader. Thank you. I think that was Jaden Davis who took that footage walking down from the sixth grade hall down to my classroom. I'm sure you all forgot what the place looks like since it's been so long, but there it was. I hope it sparked your memory. Yeah, pretty cool to see all the different things happening with nature coming back now that people aren't out and about as much as often. If you're interested in that, on a serious note, you can look at some of the stuff that's happening in Venice. Lots of dolphins and lots of nature returning to an area that had so many tourists that there wasn't much nature. Okay, moving on to our next segment. We're gonna do something a little different with a public service announcement. What broadcast would be complete without someone telling you the morals are right from wrong? So, without further ado, here is an 80s icon, Mr. T, with a PSA. Take it away, Mr. T.
So treat her right. Mother, I always love her. My mother, so treat her right, treat her right. M is for the moan and the miserable groan from the pain that she felt when I was born. O is for the oven with its burning heat, where she stood making sure I had something to eat. T is for the time that she stayed up nights and took my temperature when I wasn't feeling right. H is for the hard-earned money she spent to keep clothes on my back and tried to pay the rent. E is every wrinkle I put on her face and every worry that I caused when I stayed out late. The last letter R is that she taught me respect, and for the room up in heaven that I know she'll get. Mother, there is no other like mother, so treat her right. Mother, I'll always love her. My mother, so treat her right, treat her right.
Treat her right, treat your mother right. Treat her right, treat her right.
My mother, so treat her right, treat her right.
All right. That was Mr. T with a very special message to treat your mother right. I wouldn't want to mess with that guy. I pity the fool who gets in Mr. T's way. All right, moving along a little bit. That was our Mr. T PSA. I'm not quite sure what's next. Let's click and find out.
Cease to resist, giving my goodbye.
Randy. Remember the North American musk turtle, one of the smallest turtles in North America. All right, I'm sure you've all been wondering how Randy's been. He's doing great. Same old thing when you're a turtle. You're always in quarantine, especially when you're owned by a human being. All right, moving along to our next little segment. By the way, how scale of 1 to 10, how do y'all think this is going so far? I haven't watched any of the footage back yet, so I'm sitting at a 4 in my mind. Hopefully it's a little better. Like I said, this is brand new territory. I'm not sure what's what this is really. This is an experiment for sure. Trying to get your enrichment class, but from the comfort of your home and the comfort of my home. So let's move it on along.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your oil paints and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. This is your world. You're the creator. Find freedom on this canvas. Believe that you can do it. Because you can do it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ross. Good luck getting that song out of your head for the next however long you're alive. All right. Let's move along to our next segment. So far we've got our current events out of the way. We've got our engineering out of the way. A little bit of art and inspiration. And now let's move it on to Spanish. All right, we're going to watch a little quick short episode of the show I always play you instead of doing Duolingo, which you can. Remember your Duolingo, any computer you have at home, you can get on that. You can do any language. It doesn't have to be Spanish. Remember that. You can become fluent in whatever you want. Just make sure we're able to have a complete conversation in that language when you get back. I'm just joking. All right, so without further ado, here's our Spanish segment with You Know It.
Submarine.
Submarino.
Gato. 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 Look at me. I'm going to jump into the water.
¿Qué?
Dije que voy a saltar al agua.
Ajá.
¡Allá voy! Here I go! That was fun.
Cats don't like water.
¿Que no te gusta el agua? Yo quiero explorar el océano.
A los gatos no nos gusta el agua.
I want to explore the ocean.
Cats don't like water.
Go in a submarine.
A los gatos no nos gusta el agua.
Podemos ir en un submarino.
Submarino. Jamón. Queso. Salami. Cebollita.
Gato.
Espera. Wait. Tomate. Lechuga. Chile. Pimiento.
Gato.
Wait. And now they want up. Yeah.
Gato!
What?
Not a submarine sandwich. A real submarine.
¿Qué?
No un sándwich submarino. Un submarino de verdad.
Oh,
Oh, wouldn't it be nice?
The sandwich.
No, to explore the ocean in a submarine.
Cats don't like water.
Oh, look at the blue fish.
Whoa. I'm hungry.
Oh, mira el pez azul. Look, Gato, an octopus. Un pulpo.
¿Qué?
Vamos a contar los tentáculos.
What?
Let's count the tentacles. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4, 4.
4. I don't want to count anymore. No quiero contar más.
But you are counting very well. Estás contando muy bien.
5.
5.
6.
6.
7.
7.
8.
8. 8 tentacles.
8 tentáculos.
8 tentacles.
Son demasiados.
What?
It's too many.
Gucci goo. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci goo. Are you having fun? ¿Te estás divirtiendo? Why not? ¿Por qué no?
Porque a los gatos no nos gusta el agua. Cats don't like water.
Una vez más. One more time. Agua. Water. Océano. Ocean. Pez. Fish. Octopus. Pulpo. Tentacles. Tentáculos. 1. 1. 2. 2. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. 6. 6. 7. 7. 8. 8. Submarine.
Submarino.
Muy bueno, and gracias for joining us. And that about wraps it up for us. This was experimental. It's episode 1, so I'm sure it's a little rough around the edges, but just trying to stay connected with everyone, and want you all to know that I can't wait till we get back in the classroom. I want things to be safe, though. Just keep that in mind. It's been strange for everyone. There's not a person around, really, that's gone through something quite like this, so we're all getting through it together. And remember, if you got any questions, comments, just want to say hi, anything like that, just do so below this video. And it's been fun making it. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see everyone really soon. Miss everyone, 4th through 8th grade, all of you. And the highlight of I haven't smiled quite as much since all of you have been gone. So, I hope you're all in good spirits, though, and keep in touch. This was episode 1. Hopefully, if you've seen any TV show, always the first episode is a little like, what's going on? They're trying to find their footing or their format, but that was episode 1, so hope you enjoyed it. Got a little bit more. Don't exit the video right away. Got some credits and titles, one more little segment. Maybe some bloopers at the end, I'm not sure. I filmed a lot. I'm not sure if I want to show y'all how horrible it was earlier, because you seen how horrible it was, the stuff that actually made it to the air, so can you imagine the stuff that didn't? Okay, so, enough of me talking. I'm glad you all got to see me. It's Mr. Odom signing out until episode 2. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and keep in touch. Don't forget that assignment America. It is optional, but I love to see what y'all come up with. You surprise me every time. So, have a good one, and good night.
I'm a child, but that doesn't mean I don't have feelings. Wow! First student news clip of the day! No!
Oh! You play the piano, girl? Stop show.